This semester I took 3 interpreting classes, including this one, and 1 American Sign Language class. I learned a lot throughout the semester in all of my classes that will help me in my future with interpreting, and I especially learned a lot in this class specifically about the environmental aspects of interpreting and environmental demands. According to the Demand Control Schema, Interpreting as a Practice Profession book, the environmental demands of interpreting typically are observable demands and they're concrete demands, which means they don't really change and that they're set. When analyzing the environment, you as the interpreter can ask yourself questions about the where, the who, and the why of the environment. Sometimes it can be challenging to determine the environment, so you can ask yourself what is the goal of the environment. Environmental demands are in a set place before people begin to interact with the environment. An analogy that the textbook used that I thought was extremely helpful was that there's a director on a set, and you freeze the set, the director pauses it, and you observe everything around, all the people, everything on the set, how everything is interacting with one another, and you take a frozen image set in time, and you observe what is happening in that specific moment in time. You can observe all the different aspects of the environment. Then once the director says action, the environment is back in motion. So as interpreters, we can take set frozen images, observe them, and that'll help us understand our environment as an interpreter. The elements included within the environmental category, there's 4 subcategories. The first one is the goal of the environment, which is your purpose and why you're there. The second is the terminology of the environment, which is the type of vocabulary that's going to be used and that you as the interpreter need to be familiar with. The third aspect, or the third subcategory, are the participants. So who are your consumers? Who are you interacting with in this environment? And then lastly are what are the physical surroundings. This can be the lighting of the environment, the temperature, the humidity, things that you can't control but that are in the environment, that are physical and are set. Being able to analyze and understand the environment is an important skill for interpreters because interpreters work in many different environments, whether it's schools, courtrooms, work meetings, hospitals, police station, law, college settings, business meetings, and more. So as interpreters, they work in so many different settings, and each environment is pretty different that it's important for interpreters to be able to observe all these different environments and understand how they're different so that they can better prepare to be an interpreter in each of these specific environments. We can't always control the environment that we're working in, so it's important to have an awareness of all the different aspects of the environment when interpreting. When an interpreter spends time analyzing the environment, they can start to become more comfortable and prepared to work in that specific environment and in that specific setting. I feel like exploring the demand control schema observation forms really helped me this semester with my future work in the interpreting field. We had the opportunity to analyze different environments and situations and look at it from an interpreter mindset or an interpreter lens. During the DCS observations, we were able to look at the environment and determine the goal, what the terminology was used, and look at that, who the participants are, and what the physical surroundings were like. And we have the opportunity to do online observations and in-person observation, and I found both to be extremely helpful. This will support me in my future of interpreting because I have had practice in analyzing environments. Now when I walk into a room, I'm asking myself these questions about the environment that are helping to prepare me for my future work of interpreting when I have to analyze environments when I work in my future career. My perspective of the field of interpreting has changed over the course of this semester. Originally, I have had a little bit of experience with all of the different demands and aspects of interpreting, whether it's environmental, interpersonal, intrapersonal, or paralinguistic. I've had experience with all those, and I've always thought that environmental was a little bit easier to comprehend because it's set. It doesn't really change. And at first glance, it can seem easy. However, I realized this semester that there's so much more that goes into it, including the vocabulary you need to know, how people interact with the environment. And I realized my assumption was wrong at the beginning, and that is not easy just because it's set or concrete. And it's very important to have an open mind and to really look in depth when it comes to environmental aspects of interpreting. There is so much that goes on in the environment that is so important to be aware of as an interpreter. This semester's really helped me to gain a better understanding of what the environmental aspects of interpreting are and how important it is in the professional practice, and I look forward to learning more that will help me in my future of interpreting. Thank you.